The reading that is given in the lectionary for this particular Sunday, the Sunday after Easter, is the story of so-called Doubting Thomas, the story of Thomas and Jesus and their encounter after Jesus has experienced a resurrection. You always hear sermons about Doubting Thomas and how we have to find our faith through doubt. Preachers preach that this poor guy is being reprimanded by Jesus for doubting, and that we need not to doubt, even though we're not eyewitnesses to the historical Jesus, that we're not eyewitnesses to the crucifixion or the resurrection, and we're just supposed to push through and keep on believing. That's what being faithful is all about. And that if possible, we will be blessed when we are able to do that, because we will have chosen to believe, chosen to have faith in spite of the fact that often in this world of pain and sorrow and brokenness, there are not many evidences that God is, evident, present in any way, shape, or form some really difficult days. I resonate with that part of the story, that Thomas is simply speaking the truth as he has experienced it. I think that Thomas is not a doubter. I think there are plenty of examples in the scriptures of how much Thomas believes. I think rather he is a precursor member of the United Church of Christ, because Thomas is a person who is sort of an act up kind of guy. He believes something that makes logical sense to him. He wants to know proofs. He wants to have evidence. He wants to experience the reality in his own person. He, rather than waiting for an actual physical proof, though believes when he hears Jesus speak the words of truth. He doesn't even wait to put his hands in the nail prints or to put his hand in Jesus' side where it was pierced. He actually believes when Jesus speaks the words of peace to him. This character of Thomas really speaks to me. I wonder if he also speaks to you, because questioning is my way, and maybe questioning is your way as well. Doubting Thomas, he's always called, but I really wonder if who he is not thinking Thomas, if that is more accurate. Living the questions Thomas, wondering Thomas. Are you a doubting Thomas? Are you a questioner? Do you doubt? I do. I question, I doubt a lot of things. I doubt that I'll be finished living when my time comes, when I get to the end of the road. I question whether or not we can choose to curb our excesses in time to reduce the effects of global climate change. I question whether or not we've ever grasped, any one of us, how much we really are loved. I question whether or not we understand the wisdom of any given spiritual path. I doubt if any one of us knows how much of a debtor I am, you are, to the grace that others offer to us, to the opportunities for forgiveness and tolerance and understanding. I doubt that any one of us is ever truly aware of how many close calls we have had, about how thin lies the veil between ourselves and eternity. I doubt if we know how much we are loved, missed, and cared about, how far-reaching has been our influence as individuals and as churches. I doubt if what we worry about day after day after day is even really worth the trouble. I doubt if any one of us can truly realize how quickly we will be forgotten when we're gone. I doubt if we know how quickly and how little teenagers actually think about adults whenever they get behind the wheel of a car. I doubt if what we believe in the here and now is all there is. I doubt. Thomas doubted. Most all of us do too. Doubting Thomas asked questions. He wondered, he wasn't certain, he was completely and fully invested once he was convinced, but he didn't convince without the rest of the story. And a story had to make sense in his own experience, not just to the majority. He was unwilling to jump on any bandwagon, and he did not succumb to spiritual peer pressure. His dedication resulted from something real and deep and pure. It was deeper than simple assent. He was even more deeply committed than true faith would allow, because he chose his dedication. He chose to be a disciple of the risen Christ. So here's what I'm thinking: if you have ever debated, argued, questioned, wondered, doubted in your physical or spiritual journey this week, if you've doubted whether or not you were adequate to the task of this present moment, if you've doubted that the ways of God make any sense to you, or whether sometimes there's even anybody up in the great beyond, if you've wondered so many luminous questions that they shimmer in your eyes and you wonder if you're going to live long enough to have answers, if you really prefer the questions to the answers anyway, if the divine is speaking to you most likely through those questions. If you question, I wonder if you are not a spiritual kin to Thomas the disciple. If you are asking, why not now? Why not justice? Why not peace? Why not earth? Why not all together? The most provocative part of this story, this very familiar story that we hear every year on the Sunday after Easter, the most provocative part of this story for me this year, because every year it's different, is not the miraculous appearance of Jesus in a locked room, though that is certainly symbolic of how not boxed in is the spirit of life and love. But the intriguing part to me is what Thomas's disciples did after Jesus and Thomas's life ended. They wrote wonderful, interesting versions of the gospel that did not make it into the traditional Christian canon. And that was another alternative way to understand the teachings of Jesus, because the disciples of John and the disciples of Thomas took divergent roads. They understood Jesus's mission and ministry very differently. Here is a quotation from the Gospel of Thomas. These are the words of Jesus. "Let the one who seeks not cease until he finds. And when she finds, she shall wonder, and in wondering shall rest. Where there are two, they are not without God. And where there is one alone, I say, I am there. Raise the stone, and there you will find me. Cleave the rock and wood, and there I am." And so perhaps embedded in this story is a call to all of us who are the questioners of life, a call to integrity, a call to freedom of mind and heart and will and decision-making, a call to love and compassion that are rooted in just and peaceful living and wise decisions, no matter what direction the journey of faith may take us. If any among us find certainty in answers, and if we are able to believe even when we haven't seen, then God bless us. If others of us, though, need the questions, need and ask the living questions, and find God in the questions and the uncertainty and the pathways that are still covered in shadow, then God bless us as well. There's an old joke that says, if presented after death two roads, one marked the way to heaven and the other marked the way to a pithy discussion about heaven, if you would take the latter because you're a questioner, then God bless you and God bless those who know the way to heaven. We believe that the table of God is wide enough for all of us to sit down, to ask the questions. And what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And for all that we may doubt or question or wonder in our lives, I'm convinced that deep down inside of all of us, there is still this lingering in our deepest hearts, a longing to the one central joy. And that is that we as individuals and as congregations will serve God with love and meaning and joy and justice in this world. And that's not a conclusion of faith. That longing to live in those ways is a beginning. It's the beginning of a path forward. We ask the questions, and our love and compassion and forgiveness and justice and grace become the answers. That joy is life lived and shared in love, and a complex and tender connection is what we share with one another and with all of life as part of the joy. It's part of the joy of our particular road to grace. Our spiritual quest, dear friends, is not for the faint of heart. Asking questions is not easy. Living with uncertainty and wonderings is not an easy path. We know that there are some for whom this freedom of thought, this relentless pursuit is very threatening. And it has cost some people their lives, the act up people who continue to ask questions. And we must have courage. In our postmodern world, the agenda most of the time does not include people who are constantly asking questions of the system. It doesn't reward those who are wondering, who are exploring their spiritual hunger. When we get easy pat answers, my friends, when we are given a creed above compassion, I say doubt it. I say doubt those teachings, my friends. Remain courageous doubters, remain thoughtful and skeptical, and ask the hard questions with integrity and with love. Keep on doubting that God only lets into the family the straight white people, the so-called patriots, only Christians, only the literalists. Keep on doubting that God wrote only one holy book and then stopped teaching. That God had only one begotten child that was loved. That humans were put within the created order to subdue and control and use it all up. Doubt it. But also doubt that life and love and compassion are defeated by death. Doubt that. Doubt that love and life and compassion can be limited by our false separations of creed or commandment. Doubt it. And understand this happy paradox. That one of the ways we throw off the burdens of our own limitations and our own seeking for selfish fulfillment and spiritual growth is to shed our selfishness, to become the just and peaceful people we are called to be, even beyond our certainty and even beyond our shadows and our locked down, fearful places. Jesus said, "It is peace I leave with you. It is peace I leave with you." Those were Jesus' words in this story, not answers. It is peace I leave with you, not answers. Live and love your questions. The journey is to keep on seeking, asking, searching, learning, and creating open spaces in this world through justice, compassion, and love. May your journey be filled with beautiful questions, and may you be given the energy to seek with courage your answers, the next right thing, and the next set of beautiful wonderings. Amen.